Hello everyone, and welcome to 404s of the World, a spin-off series of remarkable engines where I briefly cover the history of an engine numbered 404 in 4 minutes and 4 seconds. This episode of 404s of the World will feature an engine that worked through the evolution of a northeastern railroad from Erie to EL to Conrail. Even though most of this engine's recorded history is in the same time and location as the last two railroads, this engine is a smaller EMD NW2 switcher built in the 40s. So without further ado, here is the story of Erie Lackawanna 404. When it comes to determining what diesel model replaces steam engine, some will highlight the early E units by EMC based on their intended use for road service, while others will say the Alco RS3s for freight and switching service. Although no one can seem to agree on which one engine replaces steam in the shunting yards, since a wide variety of experimental diesel shunters from various manufacturers were tested around North America during the 30s. However, such a title should go to the lesser known EMD NW2, with the N standing for 900 horsepower, W for welded frame, and 2 for Model 2. Based on the success from earlier low production switchers, the NW2 was the first diesel shunter to be produced en masse for switching yards, thus kicking off the domino effect of steam replacements from the yards to the main line. The NW2 was so versatile that a grand total of 1,145 engines were produced in Cleveland, Ohio over the span of 10 years starting in 1939, which solidifies the class as the most common type of shunter built by EMD. One of the 87 railroads that rostered these engines was the Erie, which ordered a total of 27 units numbered 401 to 427, with 404, the locomotive to be focused on, being built towards the beginning of Erie's batch, but towards the end of the NW2's production in January of 1948. These switchers were stationed in the greater Jersey City area, where they worked with various other early switchers in installing various freight trains that would travel across the Erie system. However, increased competition from trucks didn't help shunting in particular, and the Erie Railroad wasn't the most financially stable, as they were desperately looking for a railroad to merge with, so they chose the Lackawanna and created Erie Lackawanna in 1960. Many of the Erie's branches and stations were consolidated as a direct result, and the NW2s were acquired by EL while retaining their original numbers while being repainted in a Lackawanna-inspired livery, as 404 was initially given an EL logo patched for a full livery, as it was frequently found at the railroad's Croxton yard. Although, operations weren't getting any better, and Erie Lackawanna was eventually merged into Conrail in 1976, but EL in particular suffered the worst when it came to consolidations since they joined negotiations to be included into Conrail late. This resulted in most of their lines and engines to be abandoned or sold off, but miraculously 404 managed to make it to the Conrail roster with 38 years of service life, as it was renumbered to 9211 and its lettering was covered. Although, its time on Conrail wouldn't last for long, as after about 5 years of continuing to shunt in Croxton Yard, the venerable 404 was finally sold for scrap in 1981. Even though this particular NW2 wasn't preserved, many other NW2s survive in the preservation and revenue service to this day, as 404 is another example of a legendary engine that remains loyal to its shunting duties. Thank you all for watching this episode of 404s of the World, and we have quite a few honorable 404s. Erie's older 404 belongs to K/D8 number 404, built in Susquehanna shops for the New York, Lake Erie and Western in 1883, and while we're at it, Lackawanna's honorable 404s include 460 Camelback number 404 and Alco H860 number 404. Thank you again for watching. Credit for all the photos used go to their respective photographers, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Have a good day.